I've been growing up in Central Florida for most of my life, and I was a prosecutor for a little over 2 years. That's the first job I got when I graduated law school and passed the bar. The easiest job to get, you learn a lot, so I became a prosecutor. And while I was prosecuting, I started to not feel very fulfilled. I was doing a lot of misdemeanors, and I realized that these people are people just like us. They make a mistake and they happen to get caught by the police, but most of these mistakes were pretty harmless. And after about 2 years in, I had won a lot of cases, and I wasn't feeling that happy after I would win a case. I was kind of feeling like maybe I shouldn't be doing this, and it really all came down to this one particular case with a gentleman named Willie Clyde Henry. I'll never forget Willie Clyde. He was in his friend's backyard, and he had like less than a gram of marijuana in his pocket, and him and his friend, I think, were like smoking a joint. The cops came to serve a search warrant on the house for an unrelated matter, and they see Willie Clyde, and they're like, hey, you have marijuana? And he said, no. And then they said, yeah, you do. He said, okay, I do. They arrest him for like the tiniest bit of marijuana. This guy's a Vietnam War veteran. He was, in his 70s or late 60s. And I get this case on my desk, and I'm reading it, and I'm thinking, this is bullshit. The marijuana is legal in some of the states already at this point. This is like a couple years ago. So I go to my boss and I say, hey, we're gonna drop this case, right? I can drop this case. And I wish I wouldn't ask my boss, but my boss is like, no, we don't just drop cases. I don't care who they are. You have to take this case to trial. So I took the case to trial, and part of me wanted to just sandbag the trial and do really bad, but when it's my time to go, it's hard for me to not try my best. So I tried my best, my absolute best, and I convicted Willie Clyde Henry of possession of cannabis under 20 grams. Conviction on his record, and didn't feel very good about that win. And on my way out of the courtroom, he walked up to me and he said, hey, Mr. Landers. And I said, yes. He said, you did a really good job, thank you. And shook my hand, and it was the strangest moment where I'm like, why is this guy shaking my hand? I just put a conviction on this guy's record. And he just said, you did a really good job, and I understand that you did what you had to do. And I walked out of the courtroom, and I remember driving home that night, called one of my best friends, and I'm like, yo, man, I gotta quit. This is it. So the next day I went to my boss and I put in my 2-week notice, and I've been defending people ever since.